All right, so what does FnAtic need to do here, Incon? I mean, we're going to game 2. This is it, right? You know, loser, that's it. You're done. Your life here in the Smite World Championships is concluded. What do they need to do?
FnAtic, more than anything right now, needs to just take a breath. More than any pick that they can take, more than any ban, they need to breathe. They need to say, hey, we're still in this. You know, you can't be down. You've got one more game. You take it one game at a time. You say, it's a best of one. We take our best of one. We look at it strong, and you go into it, and you kick ass.
All right, all right. What do you think about, you know, obviously Epsilon had some unique picks, Adonis, you know. Do you think we're going to see something like that again? You know, trying something that will throw them off that FnAtic just doesn't expect?
I'm sure FnAtic wasn't too, you know, surprised by that, considering they scrim partners. But we could see something a little bit crazy. I really like this Chiron mid coming out. You know, we had talked about it earlier yesterday. This is something that we could see, and we saw how powerful it was in the hands of Yammyn. Obviously, this player didn't really play Hunters in the mid lane until near the end of the split, but these past couple months he's been practicing them, and I think that's something we're going to see for the rest of the tournament. The team as a whole seems very comfortable, and it's a very Paradigm style of gameplay, and I feel like after they lost to Paradigm in those finals at the Super Regionals, they've adopted that style.
It adds a new level of fear as well to Sol, because Sol is a character that actually allows the Hunter to go mid, because then you have the magic, the magic physical divide isn't thrown off. So whenever you let Sol through, you're not just letting Sol through, you're letting the idea of a Hunter going mid go through. And Hunter's the strongest thing that, you know, Pretty Prime, the mid lane of Titan, he loves his Hunters mid. And the thing that he loves about it is that they are so good before 5. You know, it's really hard to fight a Hunter as a mage going into the mid camps. And it really shows, you know, how much pressure you can really put out with that. So when, you know, back to the point, you can't really let Sol through. It's not just about Sol, it's about what they can get with Sol.
All right, well, we'll see how all this works out, folks. Game number 2 is coming up next here. It's going to be a good one. Let's go ahead and get started with the picks and bans. Here we go, and you know, iRaffer, I gotta ask you, buddy, how does it feel to be on the right side? You've joined me on the side of good, of always being correct.
You heard, I said I preferred FnAtic's comp, but I thought Epsilon was gonna win.
No,
I didn't hear that. I think you said FnAtic.
The second in game, I said that.
That's why Epsilon won, is because you said FnAtic were gonna win.
I'm almost certain you said FnAtic were gonna win. You said FnAtic were gonna, and iRaffer said Epsilon.
I said they had the better comp. They just didn't play it well.
You're a dirty, filthy liar. That's what you are. All right.
Sol banned away, and the sides have switched, so FnAtic will take first pick in this one.
Now the thing is, are they going to let the Xing go through? That was, in my opinion, a big proponent. No, they're not. They're just going to ban realzx Freya off. Obviously, that's been doing some work in scrims. So are they going to go for the Xing and trade the Bellona?
I think it'd be hard to not go in for the Xing. Such a strong character. Now, of course, I expect to see immediately the Bellona locked in, because there's absolutely no reason not to make sure that she's in your team.
The question is, yeah, but you could also wait, knowing that's a guaranteed pick, and look for something else. But you know, no team has.
I wonder how many times Xing and Bellona have been 1 and 2. Solo has pretty much driven this. You know, a lot of this choosing from both sides. All right, here we go.
Back to Adonis' point, it's too risky not to take the Bellona there. There's no reason not to take Xing and Bellona.
Yeah, no,
why not? They're both such strong characters.
True.
Run Bellona in the jungle. Run Xing in the jungle. Why not?
But that's what I was asking. You know, has FnAtic, you know, practiced Bellona and Xing in other roles, or is it always going to maniaKK? Khepri picked up. I like this for iRaffer, although it's going to be a different, you know, style. Last game was a very aggressive Ymir play, maybe a little more supportive passive Khepri play.
We are seeing an absolute mirror from last game. Epsilon were first picked before, and they took the Xing, and then immediately the Bellona Khepri, FnAtic, Twigs, Batz. You know, he's doing a lot of work with it throughout the tournament. He has some great ult, so no complaints about him picking that up.
Honestly, without CaptainTwig last game on the Hunbats, they would have lost that game way earlier.
Absolutely,
he landed several 4-, 5-man Hunbats ults, which is absolutely incredible. So there's no reason not to give him that character he's playing so stellar with right now. I
really dislike the Zhong pick here. I think that Epsilon handled it incredibly well. Maybe they've gone for it now because Amir is off the table. That's the only thought process I can really get behind, because I felt like Zyrhoes did not have the impact that he normally does. That's not because of him though, it's because of, you know, the way Epsilon played and drafted. The Zhong ults never really got to make a big impact. So maybe without the Emir, we'll see a better showing.
I agree with you. Epsilon Esports right now, especially with the Khepri, who already has the damage reduction in the kit, that's one of the biggest counters to Zhong is the shell, because it comes in with the protections and the damage reduction. And then on top of that, you're going to have Khepri damage reduction. So Zhong does no damage with his ultimate that way. And so it's a very risky pick. While the God is very strong, it's not necessarily strong against that composition.
There's also Janus picked up for Yammyn in the mid here. And you know, Janus is, Zhong Kui's ult, it's very good for players who can't get away, but Janus has, you know, a movement speed buff in his kit. He can also get to a wall and just portal out of that damage. So it's going to be very hard for Zyrhoes to get anything off in these team fights. And honestly, I think Yammyn has one of, if not the best, Janus in the world in his style of play. I think he reinvented the character in the middle of the season when we saw a much more supportive and defensive style. His portals are almost never used aggressively. You'll always see him portaling his team in and out of fights.
When preparing for Epsilon back in the fall split and the summer split, it was always a big heated debate as to whether we ban Janus from Yammyn specifically, because he, as you said, he just thinks outside of the box. In that famous quote of thinking with portals, he does that, and you will no doubt see it in this game.
I love seeing the Chiron pick come out here. It was extraordinarily effective last game, so why not pick it up again? Such a strong character, and everything in his kit synergizes extremely well. One of the best kits in the entirety of Smite, actually, in my opinion, as well.
He's so versatile. You know, where is his bad point? He's great early, he's great mid-game, he's decent late. You know, he's not as good as someone like Apollo or Ram, but he's still pretty strong.
FnAtic is going for the circles of all circles. No, that's not a circle.
Rama.
That's a great
he
god,
snipes in circles.
That's true. Yeah, circle snipe. Yeah, Rama
Reels
has
has an absolutely insane Rama. As a Hunter player, I am so excited to see him on the true hyper carry of our role.
You, like, if you
please.
have a true Ram,
Please.
that's the sign of a true hunter.
It's happened in con.
Finally get the Mercury pick. It was waiting for this moment.
It's that meme. It's happening. All right. Well, there you go, folks. It's locked in. A lot of debate here in the Alienware analyst desk, but unfortunately, we have to take it away. Not so much, unfortunately, because these guys are all right. We're going to go ahead and toss it over to our commentators to kick us through for game number 2.
Thank you very much, Alex. And fortunately, you are up here with us and not back with them, because we are waiting for game number 2 of the best of 3 between FnAtic and Epsilon. Epsilon up 1-0 and moving into this one. It's been FnAtic all comfort picks.
Mercury has hit the table.
Or just Mercury.
Mercury.
But I see Bacchus and Ram and Hunbots on the side of FnAtic, and I feel pretty good about that because those are best in slots for them.
Have you ever seen Mercury just one-shot someone?
Yes, I also saw Mercury being played by Latin America get one shot by everything else.
That doesn't count.
Sure it does. I mean, this is an assassin. It's a melee assassin later on in the game. He does struggle with survivability. Adapting also was not really playing to form, I want to say, on that Thor.
I really feel like Mercury is one of the best picks against Zhong just because you can force him to ult, then get out, and then have one of the best reinitiations possible. I'm really looking at adapting here to make the big play.
Zhong feels like a major liability to me in this matchup. I mean, last time FnAtic got knocked out of a LAN, it was because of Zhong. And he got knocked out of a LAN because of Zhong.
I was just going to say that.
Aurora, what do you think? I mean, is this the right pick?
It's hard to say. The Ymir's off the table now, so it could work out better than the last game for sure.
Yeah, no Emir, no Thor. You know, those geometrical blockings being a very big deterrent to Zhong. But nonetheless, this god has seen a very high pick rate with a very middling performance.
So no red pot coming out from CaptainTwig. This means it's unlikely we're going to be able to see him fight, considering Mercury basically gets a super red pot by popping sprinted.
We did have a purple pot used by Zyrhoes.
Did we?
I believe we did, yes.
Well, on Zhong.
On Jonathan Quee.
Wow. Well, Aurora?
Shoutouts to Kiki. Kiki does that sometimes, which is I
Kiki's
don't know if I agree with it.
Kiki's a support player. He plays support Zhong with a purple pot?
Well, now he's a support player.
Come on now. All right, so buffs getting started here. Zyrhoes will take a few hits before getting to lane topside a little bit quicker across the board. So going into this, it looks like Yammyn should control the pressure in the mid lane.
Well, he does have the purple pot, so I feel like it's going to be pretty hard for him to get complete control. On the first wave, since he got there first, he's going to be able to push Zhong in, but after that, I feel like it's going to be hard for him to keep it.
Adapting might have a chance, yeah. Keeping Twig out, it's going to guarantee right camps and an immediate rotation over. It's going to force FnAtic into the left side. All rotations should belong to Epsilon for the first about 2 minutes.
And look at again, both blue buffs are still standing. Something must have happened in the right lane where they just pushed each other off of them.
I feel like it's just like, hey, we're scrim partners. We know exactly what we're going to do. Rotating over, Adapting, trying to fate maniaKK here.
Yeah, that usually indicates that, like, in their scrims, that they went through an entire, like, season of fighting each other. And that one was picked up by red there. Dimi and Adapting going to combine.
Dash is
down.
down.
The blue buff, Dash is down. maniaKK in some trouble. A couple more in hands. Adapting's going to pop his sprint. And down he will go to the major look. First blood to Adapting on the side of Epsilon. And that is not good news if you are a fan of the gold and black.
There is no team in the world that would in any way think to themselves, a winnable game is still possible when Adapting gets first blood. We have seen every single time Adapting gets first blood, they win the game by like 15
right,
minutes.
but I mean, that's like every time Epsilon picks a god that starts with A, they won every game, right? But, you know, nonetheless.
Oh, no, they don't have any gods that start with A.
Oh, God.
Pardon, no.
It's all over. But, okay, I would want to mention one thing earlier on, which is Yammyn on Janus. Yammyn on Janus.
Fun.
Broke records with this god. When,
Yeah.
I mean, he was, I believe, played him 8 games in a row, I want to say at the end of Split 2, and didn't drop a game, put out the most player damage, and put Janus back on the map when he had fallen out of favor. And we're going to see him piloting one of his best gods here in the elimination game versus FnAtic.
emiltoo. Oh my god, so much damage coming out. He's controlling the 1v2, forcing them to split out, and he's wasting a ton of gold by allowing those towers shots to hit the minions. Epsilon's in a great spot already.
Yeah, Chiron's just so strong in lane. He could just bully both of them as much as he wants.
So what's the solution here for FnAtic? I mean, they give it the first blood there. Mercury's going to be a problem. He's now just going to go and just, like, jungle in obscurity until he has a few items at this point. I mean, first blood's going to put him out far enough ahead. He doesn't need to really force plays at this point. You may see him wander over to the duo lane for an ultimate at some point.
And Mercury is basically ward immune. I mean, he jumps down through the entire lane width to ensure he can hit these Sonic booms without having to go through the jungle. This is a big problem for characters like Zhong who don't have a lot of movement. And for a person like Zyrhoes who relied so heavily on characters that were movement-heavy hunters or characters like Janus, it's strange to me to see him go into such an immobile character like Zhong.
And this game's a completely different story than last. We already have 1 kill, but we saw our first kill like 11 minutes in the last game. So this game might go a lot quicker than the last one.
And also, I mean, here's one thing, right? You're fighting into a Khepri, and you've drafted a team on the side of FnAtic that is really, really lacking in burst. You have Bacchus burst, you have overhand smash from home bots, and really besides that, you don't have anything that's going to put out a lot of damage at one time, which means all these dots are going to be very easy for Khepri to ult and save the target.
What you're looking at here, they're trying to get to this purple buff. CaptainTwig trying to spread it out here. It's going to wind up being a 4v4, and it looks like it should be in favor of Epsilon, but I don't know if they're going to commit to this. They see Zhong rotating over, and I think they're going to take the wash.
Yeah, well, the mid camps are coming back up as well, and they likely want to fight over here at the left side. Those will come up second, and CaptainTwig's going to be frozen at purple.
I really like the idea to invade the purple there. The blue buffs were both down, so they don't have to worry about getting like the triangle invade on the other side. So I really like the idea coming out of Epsilon, but it's good that they backed off because they knew they had numbers coming.
They get the left side
taken, yeah.
Right side going to be aggressed now as well by Epsilon. It looks like they're likely going to pick that up. Zhong by himself can't do much but toss a card out, but it is going to be enough to hold Epsilon back for the moment, waiting for the 3v2 advantage.
Overhand smash should be able to clean this up. Major look whiffs. Adapting still there, though. This 3v3 can turn south really quickly for either team. They've got to be careful. Jumping in is Badgah to try to control the space in the camp. Will go to to blue rather, but I thought we were going to see Adapting go in.
They're just respecting the purple pot on Zhong. It's about to fade away now, so that's why they didn't want to fight.
30 more seconds or so, and then it's gone, and that's going to be a pretty big swing. That's a 50 power loss for Zhong.
That's really, you mentioned it earlier, Brandon, but it's a big part of the strength of Mercury is that sprint is effectively a red pot on a 60-second cooldown.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually stronger than that. It's like 30 damage, man.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, obviously it's only active for a few seconds, but you know, generally speaking, that's all you need, and it builds, of course, into a very nice late game scaling. Sprint 3, Badgah in a good bit of trouble as the ultimate's going to come out from both of the assassins here. Unbot's ultimate not that effective. Mercury's is CaptainTwig on the backside, overhand smash. Zyrhoes will get credit for the kill onto Adapting.
Oh my God,
the Unstable Vortex does an absurd amount of damage, and iRaffer, he's in no man's land here.
He could back right now.
Yeah, he can recall.
Oh my God, he's gonna back.
Wait,
left side. He's coming around down the side. Is Zhong?
Nope.
Oh.
Xing does not find him. CaptainTwig also doesn't find him. Unable to close the noose.
And Yammyn was sitting there. If they did end up catching him, he was going to portal him through, so he was fine no matter what there.
So they do manage to find one person. Getting adapting down at this stage can be helpful, but honestly, cutting down a 2 killing spree as opposed to a 3 or 4 is not going to be enough gold. Still, shutting down Mercury probably their key here. I mean, they weren't going to be able to kill Dimi. They focused iRaffer pretty hard as well, but I think adapting's fine with that trade. Gold for gold when some of it's going on Mercury is always going to be a win for the Mercury.
Yeah, and he finds his second kill as well before going down in that fight. 1,700 experience, 1,500 gold in favor of Epsilon through the first 6 minutes, guys. We are riding along here in the dual lane. It's realzx and Badgah versus the solo emiltoo for the moment. Khepri floating around the mid lane to help out that Zhong as he does, to help out Yammyn as he falls back to base. And, well, overall here, it does seem to be Epsilon's game through the first 10 minutes. FnAtic, you know, maybe an early Gold Fury here could help really put them back on track. It would be a big pickup for them if they were able to find an objective early on in this game.
I'm tracking adapting right here once again in the mid lane, and it looks like Zhong might be in some trouble. Very surprised to see that iRaffer didn't commit to that. Really thought we were going to see the abduct there.
I feel like they don't have a lot of wards, so they didn't want to really go in, because if they came out of the jungle, that would have been dangerous for Epsilon.
And once again, Epsilon seems to have locked FnAtic down long enough to stop their 5-minute Gold Fury rush, which they've been so adamant about throughout this tournament. Constantly on the back foot since the very beginning of the series. It seems they're still 1,300 down, despite only a 1-kill difference.
Still, the top net worth in the game is sitting on the Mercury. He's getting closer and closer to about 1,000 gold up on that Hunbot, only 300 of which is due to the first blood. So
whoa.
Considerably out farming. Here comes the rest of the squad as Epsilon moves in. Abduct off the mark, but doesn't matter. Does look like Batz is going to be into trouble, and indeed, Unstable Vortex will clean him up. Overhead smash onto adapting, but the Khepri ultimate is there, pulling him back. CaptainTwig unable to stop the bouncing monkey, but now in he will go. The Mercury ultimate used to move not very far at all. The last shot not going to be enough from Ram, but through the portal will fall CaptainTwig, and down he will go. iRaffer moving away from his team to prevent anyone else from taking damage from the ghost. He will sacrifice his life, but still doubling up the kills. Epsilon 4.
He's looking for it. He found it. He found the hole. He's trying to fight. It's going to be Zyrhoes trying to sacrifice for this one. He's crippled, taking a lot of damage here, but it looks like they'll have to back off. Yammyn was just a little bit too slow to get close enough to realzx to get it done. Still 2 for 1 at the end of the fight.
I like the idea coming out from Yammyn. He just wasn't able to pull it off fast enough. That would have been insane if he was able to.
It's difficult to find.
Yes, for sure.
Yammyn coming back, low mana. Wow, this is a little bit risky. Granted, it's only Badgah, but still, I mean, that's how you know the map. You know the players that you're playing. You have enough map awareness to know that with 2 spells at most worth of mana, look more like 1, and that amount of health that you can go and continue farming. That's good play.
Can we see Golden Hand? I want to see what he's trying to finish, because he's not backing for some reason.
It looks like...
Kronos?
No, I mean, it would be 1,300 gold and to even get restored artifact, and that's not the end of the world.
I guess that's what he's going for, because he should have backed by now if he's not going for that.
Oh, yeah, he's going to back with 11. I expect wards, maybe a level of beads.
Yeah, maybe beads.
Yeah, beads too are going to be picked up there by Yammyn, as well as a Sentry Ward and a Observer Ward. So, fair enough.
Yeah, smart to keep at least some gold. That way he can get into that Kronos Pendant. It's pretty hard to get into that restored artifact. It's 1,300 gold. It's a very long time before you're changing your character in terms of damage or CC reduction, just anything. And then, of course, another 500 out of nowhere. Adapting, decent damage pull right after. Adapting, finding another kill, and the Spirit Gun comes out just to get his team across the map. Is this going to be a Gold Fury?
Just that fast down will fall the support on the side of FnAtic, giving a 5th kill over to Epsilon and extending their lead over 2,000 gold over on the right side. Checking in with the solo laners. Dimi getting the best of maniaKK yet again at that blue buff.
Very hard for Xing to confirm that again.
Nice sidestep.
A nice sidestep there by Zyrhoes, but he still will get rooted and wrapped up. He's going to pop his beads, his shell, and his ultimate. It may not be enough. The stun's going to come out as well. Adapting, looking to run the front down.
God.
Yammyn picks him up the backside of that astral, or I'm sorry, as the unstable vortex. Up into the ultimate will go Ram. A few shots on a iRaffer, and it will pop to bring him back to life. Chiron going to knock back Twig into adapting, moving forward, and the crits are going to be there, and down will fall the monkey. And realzx takes more poke out of the Chiron. He can't continue engaging here, and Epsilon is up 5 kills.
emiltoo able to knock Twig back before he can answer. Badgah out of nowhere, trying for the stun, should have enough. He's going to need the belly flop. He's got it. He gets a return kill. iRaffer's going to go down, but he has no movement, and emiltoo's looking to chase this one down.
He's got no anything, and emiltoo's going to hit most of those shots. Now he'll fall back to realzx. It's going to be pretty tough for emiltoo to move forward in a straight line and not take too much damage from the Ram here. And so as a result, he'll clear out the minions.
But going back to the kill on Humbods, adapting definitely crit him there, and he only has a second tier of Golden Bow.
7%, man.
Yeah.
You roll dice. It's fine. You've never played against Snoopy, who hits it every single time?
Yeah, Snoopy crits all the time.
That 7% is 70% what's in the hand of Snoopy. Maybe adapting got helped out.
Or Barracuda in ranked when he's playing Artemis. He gets crits all the time off his passive.
That's 15. That's like double.
And Zyrhoes a little bit out of position here. Adapting CM, he does indeed. He's going to move forward and start putting in the spear gun on the mark as well from Yammyn. He'll go through the portal with a Khepri as well. There's a crit for nearly 400 damage yet again. 7% coming through. Zyrhoes going to go down to adapting as he moves forward with the ultimate. Down will fall Badgah as well. Reels forced back onto the tower as 4 members of Epsilon continue to swarm, and the door is starting to close for FnAtic here in the early game.
Second lowest level in the game right now. CaptainTwig at level 9 does not have even an ultimate available to him to try to stop this push. He should let this go. Take a page out of Annister's book and just give it away. He was forced to waste his blink there. That's going to be a 150-second blink cooldown for an attempt at a Gold Fury he had no business trying for.
Yeah, and when you talk to professional assassins, a lot of times what they'll tell you is that the blink is more valuable at level 1 than your life in the first 10 minutes of the game. That it's better to die without using your blink than to use your blink and live. And well, CaptainTwig's not going to have an opportunity to really aggress again for some time.
Look at the gold difference between the junglers. A 2,100 gold difference right now between CaptainTwig and the now Adapt King, really coming into his colors.
King, I like it.
1,300. I mean, rather, level 13. I mean, that shouldn't even be at this level. I mean, how much damage has he done? Let's go to the damage charts. We've seen these crits come off. 5,400 from Mercury at just 12 minutes into the game.
I mean, but it's definitely worth pointing out that Yammyn is the playmaker in this game. 4-0 and 3 hasn't died. I mean, the Mercury's been all over the map, but it's been the burst damage from the Janus that's really been making the difference. And again, they will combine for killing the Zyrhoes underneath the tier 1 tower out of nowhere. 10-3 for Epsilon. And all things told here, I mean, like I was saying at the beginning of the game, Yammyn's Janus was banned out after being so successful for multiple weeks in a row for like nearly 4 months. He was not allowed to get this god, and it seems like that's when slipped past FnAtic, as they must not have been running it in the scrims. Now there's going to be an engagement once again.
The crits.
And once again, it's Yammyn's damage coming through, and the crits from adapting. Badgah will go down.
The major look crit, plus the golden bow just did so much damage. It's why you don't stack up against Mercury. And Dimi rotates over after a beautiful auto attack cancel into Scourge to steal away the blue buff. Epsilon has complete control over every part of this map so far, and it's only going to get worse as they aggress into the tier 1.
What's really distressing here, I think, if you're FnAtic, is that how effective this Epsilon squad is with adapting without emiltoo.
Oh! Where did that even come from? And then emiltoo goes in to try to confirm it. He didn't even think that he was going to get that kill. 13-12 right now. Epsilon's lead grows and grows. Now 6,000 gold. FnAtic's dreams are again dwindling.
Yammyn play Janus because it's so different than what we see out of other top-tier Janus players. When you think about players like MLC Stealth that are known for their Janus play, it's almost entirely based on the ability to be a really absurdly disruptive utility mage, bringing your team in and out of fight, saving people, you know, kind of the farce portals that MLC Stealth will do, where he will put it up and not go through it to try to disrupt the enemy team. Yammyn is a damage-dealing semi-carry on this Janus. I mean, that's how he plays it. It is a core damage-dealing position.
And going off the Janus, his build has Pen Boots and Chronos Pendant.
I love it.
People usually go Pen into that, but he's kind of going into the more mana route. He's going to pick up a Book of Thoth off of the Soul of Reliquary, and it's just going to keep letting him throw out spells over and over again.
Yeah, a bunch of damage. I mean, the burst is going to be tremendous. The kill potential, not so much without the penetration, but still against these not so resilient targets, he's going to be taking out. I mean, look at that.
My God, Yammyn just won't stop, man. And it's still somehow adapting. Oh.
That about 500 damage ahead of him in the damage charts.
I was going to say.
Look at Bellona on the back line. Dimi has a great angle here, and in a lot of trouble is FnAtic. He's going to get 2 with the ultimate, and away will go the rest of the team as the Spirit Gun comes through, and the Unstable Vortex underneath the Tier 1 tower. It will fall. No one dead just yet, but the ultimate used by Bacchus. Zyrhoes still in the back of this fight, waiting, putting out the card, adapting, moving forward.
He's going to trade.
Damage. He will go down, but not before picking up CaptainTwig. They still do have Chiron, and they'll trade 1 kill either way, and a Tier 1 tower going to Epsilon.
Not close enough for Ram to be able to hit these shots. iRaffer will live, and it looks like maniaKK trying to push this one away. It'll be a 1-for-1 trade, adapting for CaptainTwig, definitely in favor of FnAtic until you factor in that Tier 1 did go down in that exchange.
So adapting went really far into the Tier 2 there.
Holy moly, look at that.
It was a miscommunication because he felt like he was going to get Khepri ulted by iRaffer, but it never came out. So that's why he dropped so easily in that team fight.
Oh, FnAtic still has a long way to come back. I mean, maybe a Gold Fury. I mean, they can't let another one go down. Fighting under Tier 2s or Fire Giants seems likely as well, but we go back to this death by 1,000 cuts.
We're talking about fighting under Tier 2s or Phoenixes with no towers down. Or sorry, just one, just the one.
You know what? You're right. I thought that they were I thought they
But
had them down already.
I mean, they can't really
My
defend
God.
these tier ones at this point with 11,000 experience deficit at 15 minutes.
And now this Bellona build's got me feeling ways, Bart. That Frostbound Hammer right now to shut down the attack speed of Rom and stick to him, that's going to force them to have to deal with Bellona, and Mercury's going to be free to run around.
I just like how he's going in more crit. Adapting's just going to keep going and crit and crit and crit, and he's just going to get all the crits out and just destroy everybody.
Do you expect this to be the Deathbringer followed up by even a Rage Blade as well or a Malice?
I don't know. It could be Malice, it could be Deathbringer, or it could be Rage. It just really depends on how he likes playing his Mercury.
See, normally I would really like to see a Rage here, but he's been getting so lucky this game that I would probably be just riding it like, go for the DB, man.
Why not?
No, seriously, I mean, he's been swinging super hard. And look at this greed, man. And what are they going to do? What are the FnAtic roster going to do here to try to stop this? Like, seriously, they can't fight into this.
Well, and now it's going to be the Gold Fury. I mean, they'll start the fight here around the red buff, but it's really the Gold Fury. Yeah, they have the vision of all of the FnAtic squad here. CaptainTwig and Badgah easily seen. And it's just going to be up to iRaffer and Yammyn to basically hold them here while the Gold Fury is started up by the boys of Epsilon. And it doesn't look like FnAtic's going to be able to make a response. Badgah will just now find out that they're doing it. Sentry Ward is down. Gold Fury under 1,000 HP. Belly flop. Ultimate, not enough. Secured by Epsilon.
Adapting going to come in. He's going to stun 3, force a whole bunch of beads. Raffer going to get flung back, but I think it might be too little too late here. Adapting's going to get the Khepri ult. Continues to rush down, but he's very low here. But, oh, look at that. Janus right out. Shots from the sky. Not going to be enough. Not going to be enough at all. Reals trying to fight into this one, but it looks like this one's going to belong to Epsilon.
Back down to the ground will go Reals. No kill onto Adapting. Zyrhoes to go down. Adapting wants to rejoin the fight. In the meantime, Reals will pick up the kill onto Yammyn, but not before maniaKK goes down. And now it's a full-on retreat by Reals. 1, 2 shots to hit from emiltoo. He'll get the free one as well here in just a moment. A third shot. And they're not going to go deep, will the boys of Epsilon. They'll be content with their 2 kills and Gold Fury, making it 16-5. I'm sorry, 3 kills and the Gold Fury, making it 16-5.
Badgah was able to get his flop out onto the Gold Fury, but his ultimate came just a little late, and Epsilon was able to secure the gold.
And after that, I mean, it was just control point after control point. Khepri ult on Adapting baited too long. Yammyn able to ult them out of there and ensure that Adapting and Dimi can get to themselves a better position. emiltoo control from the backline, 5-16 now, and another objective 1 for Epsilon.
I mean, this game seems like we're closer to 30 minutes than 18 with the kind of items, lead, damage, objective. I mean, Epsilon is so far ahead. Their net worth is pretty astounding as well. Before 20 minutes, they're going to hit the 50,000 net worth mark.
So he did go into the Rage. He did get a lot of crits in that fight, but it's because he had the Rage. I saw he got like 4 or 5 crits in that fight, so that makes a lot more sense now looking at his build.
I like the Rage. I mean, you have inherent attack speed as Mercury,
yes.
So why not just go into the item that's going to get the most use out of it? After this, something like Deathbringer or Mercury becomes, or Deathbringer on Mercury becomes so much more valuable because your crit percent is through the roof. I mean, he's already sitting on 40 base before auto attacks. It's going to average at 55, and then add 20% to that. Good times.
That is really, really good times.
I mean, he has so many options here. Any penetration item is going to give him a ton of damage, or just more crit is fine as well. I mean, Titan's Bane or Brawler's Beatstick would be really, really tough to deal with.
Yeah, I would like to see some pen, especially for pushing down Phoenixes and towers. Getting the Fire Giant down, pen would be very, very effective.
Maybe a Crusher.
Down, but no, don't do that.
Yeah, no.
Not a thing.
How about a Brawler's Beatstick or Titan's Bane? I think that's the right pick.
Titan's Bane.
We could even see him go
Bane.
into Spirit Robe or you know, any kind of defensive item. It could be a Mail of Renewal. It could be a Bulwark.
A Mail
all
could
are
be
fine.
insane at this point. They're trying for it. maniaKK whiffs the ultimate. Xing Chen not really known for the ult. Still kind of,
That's big.
2-1, but it's still something. They're getting these little bits out and another 1,500 gold added.
Well,
FnAtic.
look at it in return to this. Zhong is going to take a tier 1 in the mid lane.
Oh, he's going to die for it.
Rama took a tier 1 as well.
Oh,
They're going to stop at the tier
Mercury
2.
dove all the way back. Look at the damage.
Mercury goes back. Zyrhoes going to pop the ultimate, but the crits are just too much. And down he will fall indeed. Can't stop the adapting train, it appears.
They used 2 ultimates for that, and I think it was a great idea. With having
Raffer
Zyrhoes
stopped
down-
him.
Oh, no. Now Reals has no
Look at the
control either.
positioning of Epsilon now as well. They know they have FnAtic out of sorts spread out around the map. They know there just is no chance for a response. Only Badgah is up. Fire Giant now down to 6,000 HP.
We've seen crazier things.
Badgah gonna do what he can. He blinks forward too early. Belly flops out again as well. Stylish, but strange.
He got him off it.
For now, and now he's going to die. Probably.
And will come maniaKK to port in as well. I mean,
I'll miss you, Badger. I
yeah,
will.
just cows with the slaughter there, really. I mean, they just kind of. I'm not sure why maniaKK.
He got a lot of player damage there, at least.
Last year,
Fair enough.
Last year, FnAtic came in as the favorites. They were poised to win the tournament. They wound up taking 4th. This year, in their position, it looks like they're going to wind up going down. This is a 5th place shot right now.
Wow, that's surprising. Xing is sitting on the bottom below a Khepri. That's pretty surprising, especially with him being in the solo lane.
What is that? We were seeing Xing take down carries.
Bellona's done twice the damage to Xing.
And the thing is, too, he's in the solo lane, so he's poking most of the laning phase, too. That's so surprising to see.
There, the Adapt King at the top there.
Look how
14,000.
sad this Hunbots is.
Level 14 compared to, oh my god. He's
Level 14.
He's level 19.
With a Jotun's Wrath and a Mail of Renewal versus 2 crit items, a 3rd on the way by Adapting.
Adapting is level 19.
And Adapting is level 19 in 21 minutes.
5 levels. Look at the GPM, the difference. The damage difference actually belongs to CaptainTwig, but the win ratio, less games played, but much better ratio.
Well, the damage goes to CaptainTwig because the games usually last longer for FnAtic because they draw them out for so long.
That's fair.
Epsilon just ends their game so fast, there's not a lot of time for him to do a lot of damage.
Look at the KDA, 2.6 to 8.7, I think is the best thing that we could possibly talk about. And that's what Adapting has been known for. I mean, he's unstoppable.
Badgah in a lot of trouble here. The knockup going to be good from Xing. They have Adapting isolated out here, but they're not going to be able to get too much damage in them. They can't burst now that the Khepri ultimate is there, and Adapting just going to walk back out of this one. And, well, it's very reminiscent of the Aphrodite Kali compositions we saw about a year ago this time, this Khepri and Mercury.
The Khepri all came out a little too soon. I don't think iRaffer knew where the rest of FnAtic was, so he was kind of worried when he got tossed because he probably called that he had no beads to get out of the Xing ult.
emiltoo finally coming in. He's going to get sped up. Reals almost getting crippled. CaptainTwig not in a great spot as Yammyn and emiltoo continue to put the work down, keeping this lockdown.
Dodge almost all of that poke.
Yes, they do.
Which is going to be pretty good for them, considering that, if they get poked out, Epsilon takes the Fire Giant for free. But still, I mean, for all the, what I was saying around Adapting's Thor last game being a little bit underwhelming, this Mercury performance is what we've come to expect from this player.
Speaking of Adapting, he's back. He's had his health back to full. Beads and Heavenly Agility are both active, and it's very possible that they could try to take down this Gold Fury. They have an extreme amount of damage between the auto attackers, and you can see Badgah trying to work his way in. Already using that blink, he's out of position, still has belly flop, but not in a great spot.
There's just no reason for FnAtic to stop baiting out this Giant. Down will go Zyrhoes, Reals to fall as well. CaptainTwig going to do what he can. Adapting doesn't have his beads, but it doesn't seem to matter. And the fight going to continue on over on the right side. Khepri is there. Reals is down. Adapting getting the double off of that one. maniaKK. He's going to try to make his way out. They're just going to let him go. No, they won't. Of course they won't. In comes the entire team, actually, to kill maniaKK. And here is the Fire Giant. And once again, it all rests on Badgah somehow doing something to disrupt this.
A level 12 Bacchus is the sole propriety for a win for FnAtic, and he's already getting bursted. Adapting, getting this for power. That is not for resurrection. They want to burst Badgah down. He's trying to get out. That's basically his only attack spell at this point, and I don't see him getting very much farther.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Boom, boom.
And Fire Giant's done.
And Fire Giant will be falling here just a moment. Under 1,000 health, now under 500, and down it goes. The buff is active. Adapting, going to heal back all that HP.
CaptainTwig's going to get seen here, but it looks like they might let this go.
No, they won't let
Dimi's going to go over? No, okay, he's going for the blue buff.
But in that last team fight, we really saw Golden Bow do wonders. Rama and Zhong were right next to each other by the speed buff, and he was just cleaving both of them down with crits. It was
Team Golden
crazy.
Bow. Team Golden Bow, forever.
Insult to injury here. Gold Fury going to be picked up by Epsilon as well. Yammyn trolling Adapting a little bit there.
No, he was actually doing that to avoid damage and tank
Yeah,
it.
right. He wanted to make the Mercury harder to hit.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Come on, man. I mean, he's doing damage with the unstable vortex. He doesn't need much else. That was intended.
Bellona has the Shield of the Underworld now as well. Just really to break into the base. I mean, this is what I like to kind of refer to as the histogram view. Just look at how many items Epsilon has versus FnAtic. And anytime you see this where it's like 3 items going into 5, it just gives you an idea of just how dire the situation is. I mean, 20,000 experience is pretty unbelievable through 25 minutes.
And it's not like they have like a lot of level 20s. There's 2. It's Dimi and Adapting. iRaffer's 14, Yammyn and emiltoo are 19. It's not like this is a, end game scenario where everyone's level 20. This is raw experience gains. I mean, the level differences are insane. It's 3 levels, 5 levels, 4 levels, 2 levels, and another 3. That's ridiculous.
I mean, what's pretty amazing is that Epsilon is making FnAtic look like the Chinese teams they played earlier in the tournament and the international teams they played.
Hey.
This is a 22-5 beat.
Come on. This morning, that was awesome.
What?
The first game of the day this morning with the Awelish play was incredible.
Oh, it was great.
I was on my seat the whole
no, that's no knock on the international teams. That is FnAtic getting handled by Epsilon.
Coming into the Phoenix here, they're looking to close this one down. They have Fire Giant. There's no other objectives on the map. They've only lost 2 tier 2s. maniaKK not in a great spot as the Solar Flare hits, but they're going to back off. They'll continue their pressure. Fire Giant will heal them up. Remember, Khepri out of combat. Every 5 seconds will be giving that shield up, and yet into combat he goes.
What has been the difference between Game 2 and Game 1, Aurora? I mean, Epsilon in Game 1, they were doing well, but they weren't this far ahead. Things seem to have really changed.
Yeah, Adapting's had a really good game, but you also have to look at maniaKK. maniaKK hasn't really been playing Xing 10 like all the other solo laners have this tournament. He's really not put out a lot of damage, which is really surprising to see out of him.
He died really early.
He did, yes. That is right.
Oh, Dimi jumps in. I love that Scourge to stop the damage from the right side, and I think the Ghosts have been wasted.
Yeah, Zero's not going to get much damage out of this. Another major look, another ultimate coming out from Adapting. Even more damage raining through. Unstoppable 7-kill streak, an 8-kill streak now with a double kill for Adapting. And moving forward is Epsilon. FnAtic will call it. And there it is. The Titan falls, and indeed, Epsilon eliminates FnAtic and moves on.
Before we continue, guys, a big round of applause, please, for FnAtic. The longest standing roster in Smite. Absolutely incredible gameplay throughout the weekend, and some of the finest Smite players you'll find around the world.
But nonetheless, they do fall to Epsilon, a team that was barely misqualifying for earlier on in this year, and have really come back
iRaffer
and turned into a true powerhouse in the Smite scene. This European team looks like they're going to give the NA boys a good run for their money back on the other side of the bracket.
I love the way they played. I mean, iRaffer's completely changed the Ymir meta. The way they played Game 2, the Mercury, I mean, I think this is what Envy was looking for with the Mercury play when they were at Regionals. I mean, Adapting was unstoppable. Maybe a little bit lucky with those crits.
Well, I mean,
It helped a lot.
Khepri on top of the Mercury, it gives you that certain amount of confidence playing the Mercury, right? That even if you go and you get too deep, you're still not going to die.
It was across the board. Everyone on the team played incredibly. We barely mentioned Dimi's name. I mean, the guy was constantly hitting 2- and 3-man Bellona ults. I mean, his control with Xing 10 was incredible. Both games, he was unstoppable. He barely even got touched.
Yeah, I mean, Aurora, again, we were saying, like, what was the big difference there? And was it really the Mercury play? Was it really just Adapting, changing Game 1 to Game 2?
Yeah, his kill on maniaKK really put maniaKK behind, and it really offset him for the rest of the game. It definitely was the Mercury play, but it also contributed from the Xing 10 not putting out as much damage as he should have.
Well, fair enough. FnAtic does get eliminated. Epsilon does move on. Let's toss it down to Kelly Lake on the stage with an interview with Epsilon. Kelly, take it away.
Thank you so much, Bart. Congratulations on your win. How are you feeling right now?
I feel awesome, I'm pretty speechless. I will have a few good comments soon, though.
So what did you do to prepare against this game for FnAtic?
We've been scrim partners for almost 6 months, so, we've done 6 months of preparation for him.
You're going up against Cloud9 tomorrow in the semifinals. What are you going to do to face them?
We're pretty confident versus C9. We wasn't too phased. of being in the same bracket as them, so as Real says, we'll let the game do the talking.
Anything you want to say to your fans and sponsors?
I love you all. Thank you for supporting us.
Congratulations again, and we are going to go to the analyst one more time for that post-game analysis.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Yes, this is the Alienware Analyst. That's our final match of the day, and my goodness, it was, I mean, Game 1 was intense. There's a lot of back and forth, and then, obviously things went Epsilon's favor. This time around, Epsilon looked like a championship caliber team that is ready to face off against the defending champions tomorrow. Adonis?
Epsilon, they came prepared. They came out swinging in this second game specifically, and I think, FnAtic, they just weren't ready, right? The second they lost that first game, I think the series was over. Ataraxia said the same thing earlier on, FnAtic. They're a team that runs on emotion, and after they lost that first one, it just felt sloppy. Even this first blood where Adapting rotates over, it just seemed like Twig and maniaKK didn't know what to do, and you heard the casters talk about it. maniaKK putting out like 4,000 or 5,000 damage by the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, that was just not his game. He must have been off, whether it's because of the previous game that they lost or not. and really it just let adapting take over the entire map, man. People have been saying, I've been saying, iRaffer has been saying, where's the Mercury? We found out where it was waiting for, and it was waiting to put FnAtic into the ground.
Look at that damage. That is actually, I know we got a bunch of kills and he crits and all that, but it's, you know, it's like Mercury is really, really good.
Really good or something.
Yeah, it's crazy, you know?
It's crazy.
Who would have thunk it, you know? But so that does raise some questions, though, right? Because you're Cloud9. You saw what Mercury is capable of doing. You also saw a very unique Ymir strat as well that went in game 1. One thing that Epsilon has shown is that they are not afraid to diversify. They're not afraid to try out things that haven't been done in this competition so far in Smite World Championships, as here you see some footage of Mercury doing what Mercury does best.
I think this is a 3-man ult. This is a really nice
Yes.
3-man ult that completely disrupts FnAtic, even through the Hunbat's ult, and it's just, it's so good. He went 15-2 by the end of this game. He actually had more kills than, he had half his team's kills, over half.
That's insane. I
He
mean,
had more kills than all of FnAtic.
so if you're Cloud9 then, Ataraxia, are you trying to ban him out then tomorrow? Do we got to be cautious about this, or are you not worried?
I don't think you can really ban out adapting. I think he's shown that he can play. He's played, what, 4 different gods now.
You could say that he adapts very well.
You could say that.
Hey,
you might
yo.
get a boo from the crowd, but you could say it.
Give me one, people.
But so if I'm C9, I'm either thinking they either play a lot of Mercury, and then they're just going to ban it out, or maybe try get it, or they don't think it's that good and think maybe it's just a one-off game, which is fair. You know, we've only had one game of an EU NA team playing Mercury, so maybe it is a one-off. So maybe we'll find out tomorrow if it gets picked and how well it does. But if it gets picked again by Epsilon and they win with it, I guarantee it will never get through again.
I agree. I don't think that they're going to go in with the Mercury. You know, it's only got that one try right now on adapting, so I doubt they're going to be worried about that. They're probably going to go fairly typical bans. You know, you don't want to deal with your Xing 10 souls, Bellonas. You give or take on those, and maybe give away the Thor just because you were practicing on banning it originally, right? Everybody was planning on getting rid of the Thor, so maybe get rid of that as well, and then see how he does on Mercury, or pick Mercury yourself.
I want to see Thor-Nox combo come out between these two teams because we've seen them both run it. I think if Thor comes, it could go to Nox to mid.
There's just one point I want to make about Epsilon as well. They've played 4 games now, won all of them, and Dimi has not died yet.
The Undying.
Dimi, the Undying. He is still not died. And on day 1, I said if someone's going to end this tournament, regardless of whether they win or not, with the least deaths, it will be Dimi, and I'm still standing by that. 0 deaths, 4 games, and I think that's going to continue tomorrow.
That's a very impressive statistic there, right? Now, also something that Cloud9 needs to think about as well. And actually, speaking of, let's take a look at the bracket and recap what we had here today, what we witnessed today. Of course, the story coming into it was OMG cracking their way into the top 8 alongside with their brethren from China, QG Reapers. Unfortunately for them, their journey ended in the quarterfinals as Paradigm and Cloud9 made quick work of both of those teams respectively. Then on the other side, you had Enemy facing off against Pain Gaming. A lot of people thought Pain was, oh wait for it, gonna bring the pain. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Bring it to me. Yeah, you gonna hit me with the slow clap? Do you hit me with the slow clap? Okay. You're terrible.
Well deserved.
Okay, all right. I digress on the dad bad
It was
jokes.
great. No,
it was
that
a
was great.
bad dad joke.
I loved it.
No, but really though, a lot of people thought Pain was actually going to do very well against Enemy, not thinking that Enemy, you know, were capable maybe of holding off Pain, or that they were, but it wasn't going to be as easy as a 2-0, and Enemy looked very, very good. Adonis, what are your thoughts in regards to that match?
Enemy can no longer, like, they can't be, they're still the dark horse, I guess, because they came in as a dark horse, but this team is a world-class contender.
I agree.
They play so intelligently. They may not have the best players in each role, but they have some of the best players all around and just the best minds, I think.
But you know what, though? Their greatest challenge is ahead of them, because tomorrow they face off against Paradigm, a squad that has come to this event with a lot of clout, a lot of hype, high expectations for them. And of course, to round it out was the match you guys just witnessed, which of course was a great matchup. And FnAtic is nothing to be ashamed of. They, you know, just got to, you know, go back to the drawing board and figure out what they can do moving forward, you know, throughout Smite competitive. Now, on the bottom portion of that bracket is the matchup that not only will close out our broadcast for tomorrow, but will also be the hypest match that Hype has ever seen, and this could indeed be the thing that destroys the Earth. Cloud9 versus Epsilon. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about this, boys?
I can't predict that match. That's one that I can't go in and I can say I can give an edge to a team immediately. Actually, I think it's more because I think Epsilon might be a little bit better, but you know, North America, Cloud9, you can never count them out.
Yeah, that's right. And they were looking good, you know, both objectively and also in that kill column, right? They were just doing the work that was necessary. But one has to wonder, FnAtic was a greater challenge than, you know, QG. Not to take anything away from QG, a great team. They are here after all. But Epsilon took out FnAtic, and that was definitely not an easy matchup. So for them, Epsilon's confidence must be a lot higher. What do you think, Ataraxia?
For tomorrow, I think that we're going to see two games of EU versus NA, and I think we're going to see EU versus EU finals. I think tomorrow is the last day of the SWC for NA, at least as far as PC Smite's concerned.
Woo.
This is EU's year.
I can't say that I agree with that. I think what we will see, though, is one NA and one EU team making their way into the finals. I think this is going to be fairly straightforward. We're going to see the #1 EU versus the #1 NA going head-to-head. We're going to have Paradigm versus Cloud9 in the finals.
Ooh, okay. What about you? You know, you actually made your bold prediction.
You know what? I can't count out Enemy anymore. I think it's going to be Enemy versus Epsilon in the finals.
Whoa. Wow,
Just wanted to
okay.
counter me.
Maybe a little.
I actually have to agree with Incon here. I think we're actually going to have Paradigm Cloud9 in the finals, and because I said it, that means it will happen. Because of this, though, guys, that's going to do it for us here today. Not to mention as well, tomorrow, folks, we are going to have some Xbox Smite. Our friends over at Envy have made it through to the open bracket. You're pretty happy about that. And it's going to be a good one. It's going to be Eager versus Envy tomorrow. That's going to be taking place here. Should be a good matchup. Really, I'm going to root for my boy Allied, who was here last year at the Analyst
I don't know about being a good matchup. I think it's going to be a quick matchup.
Ooh. Oh, man. Well, they're your teammates, so you're obviously biased.
I don't think it's biased. I think they're just the best. They always have been. They always will be.
This guy right here.
Just like the PC
It's because they have a
team,
mega, right?
It's
Just like the PC team, right? They're so. Wait a minute. Oh, you okay? There?
Yeah,
all right. Do you want some ointment for that burn?
Ow. What team were you playing on again? I forget.
Oh,
That was 2.5 years ago.
Oh,
okay?
RG.
oh, I don't have a dog in this fight.
We were top 4. We were top 4.
You were top 4 of like 4 teams, though, weren't you?
Yeah, 3 teams.
That's like.
And which position in top 4 was that? Would you say?
We were the
4-4?
the fourth of the 4.
Yeah. So that's you're just basically the loser.
Hey. RG, you look at the players, we're all successful now. You know, I'm here on the desk. We got Pecky's killing it on graphics.
Okay.
Wolfie, one of the most popular streamers in Smite. And Snoopy, also one of the best hunters in competitive.
So then what that tells me is if you can't compete, you cast. If you can't compete, you get a job at hi-rez. If you can't compete, you just go and stream. That's basically what's that. All I hear is just a lot of this, a lot of excuses.
You're crushing me, Golden
I know,
boy.
I am. I owe you a beverage later
man.
today. All right,
Maybe
folks.
5.
Well, we hope you guys have been thoroughly entertained today because it has been indeed another awesome day of Smite competition here at the Smite World Championships. That's going to do it for us here at the Alienware Analyst Desk. But before we go, we're going to toss it over to Kelly at the stage. Kelly, what's going on?
Thank you so much, Golden Boy, and thank you guys. Did you guys enjoy day 2? The 4 teams of the semifinals have been decided. It is Paradigm, Enemy, Cloud9, and Epsilon. You guys can join us for the 2 best of 5s and the Xbox Invitational best of 3. The red carpet starts at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow, and the game starts at 11 a.m. Have a good night, guys.